Hey there, welcome to July in Minnesota. It's Meg with Seed to Fork, and it's time for my mid-July garden tour. All right, well, we're still in the same weather pattern. It's warm and it's been dry, and what that means is the garden has continued to grow exponentially. We've got really well amended soils and irrigation and tons and tons of sunlight. And those three things combine to make this an extremely productive garden. Strawberry season is done, blueberry season is here, the plums are starting to swell, the apples on the trees look great. Asparagus hasn't been harvested for about 4 weeks now because it slowed down a little early. We are mostly done with our first succession of brassicas, and I've already replanted that with things like carrots. Put a summer squash in there this year. I've got beets. I've got a second succession of beans in there. And I've been doing some extra successions of cilantro. Sweet corn is pretty close. We've been eating tomatoes for a couple weeks now, pretty steadily. Sun golds at first, but now we've got about 5 or 6 varieties in season. Fennel's in season. Celery's in season.
So here's a harvest from just a few days ago. Lots of tomatoes and blueberries, as I had mentioned. There's even some peppers, cabbages, cucumbers, summer squash, celery, garlic, fennel, tons of green beans, carrots and beets still in season as always. It's just a wonderful time of year.
Things like our watermelon are really starting to fill in this triangular bed. That was a new way of growing watermelon this year that I'm very excited about. And some of the more exciting things in the garden, like new varieties to me, I've got artichokes. I'm growing Imperial Star for the first time, and that is it's been bred to be an annual to work in cold climates, and I cold vernalized it this spring before I planted it out, and it went out even in cool weather. And I'm happy to say that last week, the first week of July, is when I first started to see artichokes forming. All of our dry beans are up, and lots of them have pods on them. Winter squash have fruit on them. We're already having a hard time keeping up with our summer squash. We've got 2 varieties in the garden this year. Cucumbers are in season. Pickling cucumbers have been in season for about a week and a half now. And finally, our slicers are coming into season as well. We've got 3 varieties of those this summer too. We're in this beautiful spot right now where we've got lots of diversity, but because kind of our big heavy producers in summer, like our determinate tomatoes, aren't ripe yet, and our pickling cucumbers are not totally overwhelming me, it's this beautiful time of summer where we have just an abundant diversity. I pulled so much diversity out of the garden a few days ago, and we just really enjoy sharing it. We enjoy giving it away. We enjoy having friends over, bringing it to potlucks and things like that. So it's just a lovely time of year to really enjoy all of the abundance in the garden, and it will just continue to increase as we head into August and even September. So here we are, I don't even want to say how many weeks we are from a frost. It could be 10 weeks at worst, maybe 12 to 14 at best. So I've got a lot of my fall crops already in place. I've got my fall cauliflower in place, my fall cabbage is in place. Broccoli isn't in the ground yet, but it is started. I've got more kale started. And so I'm doing a lot of layering of succession planting around the garden to really set us up for a lovely extended harvest after that frost comes sometime in late September or October. So we've got our fall carrots are in place. We've got our first succession of beans are going to be out of here soon, and I've got 2 more planted, which will be great. We've got onions that are just massive, and I'm leaving them in place this year. We're going to start using them as we need to. If I need an onion for a recipe, we'll just head out to the garden and grab one. The garlic came out last week. It wasn't our best garlic season. I think that probably had to do with the drought, but that's been replanted with extra fall starts as well, and then peas are going into where that bed was too. I love being able to just know that I'm going to have space open up in summer, like right about now, for those fall plantings. That's kind of one of the easiest ways to succession plant this garden. So then with our flowers, you can see we've got all of our flowers in production already, except for some sunflowers. My Soraya sunflowers are not flowering yet, but everything else is producing, which is just wild because my dahlias that I grow from seed, I don't start until the middle of March, and they usually don't flower until starting in about August, but they started this year by early July, maybe even late June. I didn't write it down. So we have a ton of color in the garden right now, and it just looks absolutely divine. It is such a joy to be out here working and enjoying the garden and replanting it and harvesting and enjoying a cup of coffee or even just sitting here and relaxing. So I hope you have enjoyed this time in the garden with me, and I hope you have a great month in the garden wherever you're growing.